Welcome everyone to Apple Insider. It is Andrew here, and we have just wrapped Apple's October high-speed event, and they had a lot in store. We saw the HomePod Mini, which honestly made me feel a lot better about the product than I did going into it. And of course, we saw the new iPhone 12 and the iPhone 12 Pro. Of course, there's also hidden in there the iPhone 12 Mini and the iPhone 12 Pro Max that have their own features. So there's a lot to talk about, but you've probably seen all the headlines on the big new features. You've seen the 5G and the new A14 Bionic processor and all those other flashy things that Apple likes to talk about. But there are a lot of features that may have gone a little bit under the radar, either not mentioned by Apple at all during the event, or just glossed over very quickly that you may have missed them. So in this video, right now, we're going to be taking a look at all of the features you may have missed during Apple's iPhone 12 announcement. To break this down, we're going to focus first on the iPhone 12 line as a whole, and then we're going to get closer on the iPhone 12 Pro, which have some pretty compelling features of their own. Starting out with the basic iPhone 12. This replaces the iPhone 11 in the lineup. It's still a 6.1-inch screen, but Apple has in fact made the jump to OLED. It's now a Super Retina XDR display, same as the iPhone 12 Pros. There are some small differences, but really it's an OLED display now that looks absolutely incredible. So we are really excited that there's now an OLED Super Retina XDR display on the iPhone 12 Mini and the iPhone 12. On top of that, you may have missed this, is that's actually going to mean smaller bezels. That was one of our biggest criticisms, is it made the phone kind of feel bigger because there was this large bezel going around the display, but not anymore. The iPhone 12 with its new OLED Super Retina XDR display has much smaller bezels than the previous iPhone 11. 5G is one of the biggest features, and we've already heard a ton about that. But what you may not know is that the iPhone 12 line can now take HD FaceTime calls over 5G. So previously, if you were using cellular, even 4G LTE, you were limited to lower resolution calls. You had to use Wi-Fi if you wanted a 1080p HD video call over FaceTime. But now, thanks to 5G, you can take those 1080p HD FaceTime calls anywhere you are, as long as you've got 5G or Wi-Fi. A lot of attention this year has been put on Dolby Vision because the new iPhones can capture Dolby Vision video. You can edit Dolby Vision, play Dolby Vision, and share Dolby Vision HDR content. With the iPhone 11 line, you could view Dolby Vision and HDR10 videos on your phone. But new with the iPhone 12 line is you can now watch HLG HDR video. So what is HLG? Well, hybrid log gamma is a different type of HDR format. The biggest difference is that HLG is intended for broadcast use. So if you're watching anything over a streaming app that maybe wants to support HDR, that will be opened up now. You can possibly watch HDR broadcast thanks to HLG support. Of course, it takes the apps and the broadcast and everyone else to play along to bring HLG support to their video streaming, but that is what it will open up. And of course, we still have HDR10 and Dolby Vision HDR content as well. Since we are talking about video, we can talk about 4K video. Now with the latest phones, you can AirPlay 4K HDR content to the Apple TV, as long as of course your Apple TV supports those features, but you can AirPlay 4K HDR content to your Apple TV. That's pretty incredible because you can shoot this HDR content with your phone and then share that high dynamic range video on your Apple TV completely wire-free. A few other features that we want to talk about that you may not have seen is while the phones still have IP68 rating, before they were limited to 4 meters for 30 minutes. The new iPhone 12 line in its entirety still has IP68, but it can be submerged for 6 meters for up to 30 minutes. So even more resistant against water, and that includes your everyday spills as well as being dropped in a pool. So up to 6 meters for up to 30 minutes. We also now have 15 watts of wireless charging, assuming you're using a MagSafe accessory. Thanks to that MagSafe accessory, those magnets align the wireless charger perfectly, enabling up to 15 watts of power. Previously, you were limited to 7.5 watts. And if you're gonna rock a traditional wireless charger, you're still gonna be limited to 7.5. But using any MagSafe adapter or charger, anything like that, or wireless charging pad, you can get up to 15 watts. So some truly fast wireless charging on these new iPhones. The last feature to kind of mention here for all of the phones in the lineup would be lens correction. So this applies to the ultra wide lens of the new phones. Previously, there was some distortion going on just because of how wide that lens was, especially in tight shots. But now Apple will compensate for that with lens correction on that ultra wide angle lens across the entire lineup. Now let's go ahead and look at some of the features for the iPhone 12 Pro and iPhone 12 Pro Max that you may have missed. Starting out, storage. I mean, we are shooting freaking 4K video in Dolby Vision, 60 frames per second. We're gonna need more storage. And we are getting it because the new iPhone 12 line starts at 128 gigs of storage rather than just 64. So even though the prices are staying the same and you're getting all these other features, we're doubling that storage amount. I'm very happy with that one. The rest of the features that we want to talk about for the pros have to do with the cameras. There's a lot of little things that you may have not seen Apple talk about. So for example, you can now get up to 4x optical zoom on the iPhone 12 Pro and up to 5x optical zoom on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. So anytime you're zooming in on an image, you don't have to stretch the image and lose quality. You're actually able to do that optically and not lose any quality in that photo as you zoom in. So 5x optical zoom on the 12 Pro Max, that's going to be a big step up. We're also getting night mode portraits. So the iPhone 12 Pro line has a LiDAR scanner on the back, which is going to help for a bunch of things including AR and autofocus. And I'm thinking it should help with this new feature of being able to take night mode portraits. You can take a portrait in low light with no flash and still get that amazing shot with some incredible bokeh in the background. Finally, when it comes to video, you can now shoot with 4x optical zoom on the Pro and 5x optical zoom on the Pro Max and up to 7x digital zoom on the Pro Max. All of these are higher than what we could in the prior gen, and it's going to make a big difference when you're shooting video. There are so many new features that we love about the iPhone 12, the iPhone 12 mini, the iPhone 12 Pro, and the iPhone 12 Pro Max. There is still a lot to unpack, and stay tuned to AppleInsider because we're going to bring you all the new features, everything you need to know about all these new devices, tons of comparisons, and lots more coming down the line. So stay tuned and let me know which iPhone 12 you are going to be picking up over on Twitter at Andrew_OSU, and let me know what you thought of the Apple event.